Hi, welcome to another episode of Soul's Podcast. I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are. Here, we'll learn together to heal, to free our souls from all burdens of the past, and to cultivate more self-love. In today's episode, we want to talk about abundance and what it really means. Scroll through social media for 5 minutes and you'll see abundance reduced almost entirely to a number. The balance in a bank account, the price tag on a car, the square footage of a house. This version of abundance is loud, visual, and easy to package into a reel, which is exactly why it's spread so widely. But it quietly teaches an entire generation that worth is measurable and that enough is always one more zero away. Its abundance stripped off its actual meaning. Real abundance was never meant to be one-dimensional. It includes rich relationships, time that isn't owned by someone else, a nervous system that isn't in constant alarm, creative fulfillment, health, peace, and a sense of alignment between what you value and how you actually spend your days. Someone can have significant financial wealth and still deeply lack freedom, connection, or peace of mind. And someone else can have modest financial resources while living an abundant life by almost every other measure. And as a manifestation coach, I agree entirely that you can have them all with the right level of consciousness, which gives you the possibility to manipulate and form the energy and therefore your reality. The distortion isn't that money doesn't matter, it's that it has been mistaken for the whole picture, when it was only ever meant to be one thread in a much larger, richer fabric of your life, and actually only as a mean to achieve the ultimate wealth, which is freedom, deep joy, and peace of mind. Money matters, obviously, and will remain as one of the markers of success. However, reflecting deeper on your other values, you can realize better that money is also a form of energy and is supposed to buy you other meaningful opportunities, like joyful experiences, freedom, power, and more free time to be present, enjoy yourself, and relax. It is important to unpack this because the story we're told about what a good life looks like shapes what we chase, what we sacrifice, and most quietly and most dangerously, what we feel ashamed of not having. When abundance becomes only net worth, then anyone without significant financial wealth is implicitly taught they're behind, worthless, lacking, or somehow living a smaller life, regardless of how rich their relationships are, how much peace they carry, or how aligned their days are with what they actually value. This is not a small marketing flaw. It is a structural distortion with real consequences for how millions of people feel about their own lives. Capitalism, as an economic system, has its own motivations why they promote addictive joy to sell and profit from higher consumption. It is bad for the business if the population feels satisfied with what they already have. If people believed they were already enough, already abundant, already living well, they would buy less, compare less, and scroll less. The story that is being boosted is not you have enough. It's you almost have enough, and here's the next thing that will finally get you there and make you feel content, satisfied, and happy. This is why luxury and lifestyle content performs so well. It doesn't just show us something desirable. It activates a very old, very human comparison instinct, and then offers a purchasable solution to the discomfort it just created by a manufactured sense of lack. But in this podcast and my online community, our focus is on self-love and finding out what brings you as a soul lasting, meaningful satisfaction in life, and how to set goals for yourself in life that align with your values and real definition of abundance, not what is being promoted out there. The picture presented to us on social media for abundance is not real. It is just curated version to attract audience and increase sales. What we're actually seeing is rarely a full, honest picture of someone's life. It is a highlight reel, filtered through months of careful curation, often financed by debt, sponsorship, or simply never shown alongside the parts of life that don't photograph well. The exhaustion, the loneliness, the anxiety, the relationships quietly falling apart behind the life update caption. We are never presented with the whole picture. The form of abundance that gets marketed to us isn't necessarily the version that matters most. It's simply the version that is easiest to package, display, and sell. Therefore, it is important to reflect on this topic deeper, detach from this one-dimensional fake picture, and focus on the definition of success and abundance that actually aligns with our own values. When abundance gets reduced to money and material markers, several quiet but serious mental costs start to accumulate in people's lives, often without them realizing where the discomfort is actually coming from. The first mental cost is this constant running on hamster wheel and the moving finish line. If abundance is defined purely by financial accumulation, then enough becomes a receding horizon rather than a place you can ever actually arrive. There is always a bigger house, a nicer car, a higher number. Chasing a definition of success that has no natural limit means chronic dissatisfaction becomes almost guaranteed, regardless of how much is actually achieved. This not only destroys your confidence and gives you a feeling of not being enough, but also puts your nervous system in survival mode for a long period of time, which can obviously result in frustration and burnout. While the real problem is the over-demanding environments and one-dimensional standards, which are continuously increasing, not you. Chronic anxiety and comparison can be other side effects of this one-dimensional wealth culture. Constant exposure to curated financial success creates a nervous system that is perpetually measuring itself against a moving, often fictional bar. This isn't just an occasional twinge of envy. For many people, it becomes a background hum of inadequacy that colors everyday life, even when their actual circumstances are genuinely good. Especially for individuals who struggle with perfectionism life traps, social media and the promotion of abundance in this way certainly triggers this wound and can be very addictive and dangerous. The next mental cost of taking money as the only marker for success is values displacement. People often make major life decisions like which career to pursue, how many hours to work, which relationships to prioritize based on this narrow financial definition of a good life, even when it contradicts what they actually value. Someone who deeply values time with their children might still take the higher paying job with less flexibility because the cultural story insists that is what a successful, abundant life requires. Gratitude erosion is probably the highest cost people pay for this toxic money culture. It is most quietly damaging because when your attention is constantly trained on what you don't yet have, it becomes very difficult to actually notice, feel, and appreciate what you already do have. Gratitude requires presence in the current moment. A mind constantly comparing forward has very little space left for appreciating now. This can decelerate, if not fully hinder, manifesting your dreams. Because gratitude and the deep meaningful joy that comes with it is the highest matching vibration to the vibration of manifestation. Coming from a place of lack and getting stuck with its negative emotional charge is the last thing you want if you plan to succeed in your life. The way to resist falling into this trap is by staying aware of what is real abundance and what brings meaningful joy. Regularly practicing gratitude and finding joy in everyday blessings can help you to bring back the balance, feel calm, embrace your unique life journey, and be present in the moment where the actual manifestation and creation happens. But what are some ways to do this? So next time you're on social media, notice which accounts leave you feeling inadequate or subtly worse about your own life after viewing them. versus which ones leave you feeling inspired, calm, or genuinely informed. And then use these triggers to deliberately curate your feed for your benefit. And remember to always see the whole picture. Whenever you notice comparison creeping in while scrolling, pause and consciously remind yourself, I am comparing my full life to someone else's carefully edited 10-second highlight, which is not their entire truth. Practicing a specific gratitude can be a very effective technique to keep the focus daily on different forms of abundance, especially by journaling or naming few exact moments, experiences, or interactions from your actual day that you feel appreciation for. Notice also the positive emotions when you journal. Instead of only asking, did I learn or achieve enough today? Ask, what made me feel calmer, at ease, laugh, and feel connected to somebody? It also helps to constantly check in with yourself and reflect on what happens if everything stays roughly the same in your life. Your honest answers normally reveal that your definition of enough and most of what you desire or is missing in your life is not income related, but is a craving for more connection and meaning. Planning unmonetized joy and assigning time, for example, for a walk with no destination, cooking without photographing it, a conversation with no agenda can also help you to rebuild your capacity to experience presence for its own sake, not for a specific output or financial return. Value-driven decision-making is another useful technique to bring back the abundance focus on what matters to you instead of following others or what they expect from you. It helps to discover your core values and before any major life decision, a job change, a purchase, a move, pause and reflect to explicitly name which of your top values it serves, rather than defaulting to, will this make me more money or make me look more successful? This not only facilitates your decision-making process, but also provides you with peace of mind and clarity, and assures as well that you would never sacrifice yourself or sell yourself short. None of this is an argument against financial ambition, comfort, or wanting more money. Wanting security and freedom through financial means is entirely reasonable and often deeply practical. The point isn't that money doesn't matter. It is that money has been allowed by a system that benefits from our dissatisfaction to represent the entire concept of a good life and well-being, when it was only ever one part of a much larger picture or a tool to manifest a deeper kind of joy. The irony is, people who cultivate real abundance, like rich relationships, presence, purpose, peace, health, often find that financial well-being becomes even easier to build from that foundation, not harder. If financial wealth is only one thread in the fabric of a genuinely abundant life, what are the other threads? Psychology, specifically positive psychology research, points to several dimensions of well-being which matter far more to life satisfaction than income alone. I will discuss more about this in the next episode of Soul's podcast. Stay tuned to discover more about other sources of abundance based on the PERMA model developed by American psychologist Martin Seligman. Remember, everything you need to embark on your growth journey is already within you. Growth and sustainable change demand a shift in identity, rewiring your negative limiting core beliefs and discovering your true life purpose. There is currently a gap between your current identity and the identity who lives your desired life. As a coach, I am honored to help my clients to reflect, dive deep within, and access their inner source of guidance, which helps them bridge this identity gap and manifest their dream life. If you currently feel stuck, lack joy and meaning, or struggle with anxiety, I can help you break free from old patterns and the limitations of the ego to find your true passion, manifest your dream life, and get where you deserve to be. Check the link in the description to book your first coaching call with me today. Thank you for being here with me today on another episode of Soul's Podcast. If you wish to learn more about this, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more episodes and videos like this. I send you much love and light wherever you are. Your co-traveler and guide, Sareh. See you next time.